I want to come in and I want to buy 100,000 worth of gold. Are you worth 25 million? Yeah, I am.
Let's get right into it.
Back at it again with the sit down. It's your guy EmEz. We here. Like, subscribe, share. Next to me this afternoon is a trap queen from what part of New York? Roosevelt.
Long Island, Roosevelt. Mm-hmm.
She's got her own episode of Trap Queen on BET's American Gangster. I've spoken to you before. It's been a long time, ladies and gentlemen. One time for Miss Aisha Hall.
What's up, y'all?
How's everything?
Everything's good.
Thank you for coming back again.
Thank you for having me.
A lot has happened since the last time we spoke.
A lot has happened.
Catch me up.
So, I was approached by BT.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to tell my story. It was about basically women who went to prison for these pretty large-scale crimes.
Okay, I know what it was. You still haven't let me any bread from that. But let these people know why you were incarcerated and what was the charges you were up against.
My charges were conspiracy to commit wire fraud, witness tampering, and obstruction of justice. Those were my 3 charges. I was sentenced to 10.5 years.
And did?
And I did almost 10 years. I did 9 years and change.
Right.
I've been home now for 2 years. And I've been out of the halfway house for about 18 months, 19 months or so.
So when we spoke, you were in the halfway house?
I think so.
Wow.
I think so.
About that?
Or on an ankle bracelet, one or the other.
I didn't see an ankle bracelet.
So then I probably was in the halfway house.
Oh, wow. Okay, so now, she's giving you the light story, right? Because I know my girl here had upwards to 15 million?
No. 10 million.
Oh,
I made about 10 million, gross. I net about around 7 million or so. That was my net. I processed the deal. So, I made 10 million, but I paid out brokers. I paid out, the people that were making this stuff happen. So, about that.
So now, how did you spend that money?
You know what? Believe it or not, I really didn't. I spent that money investing in things to make me more money. So
That's bullshit. Yeah, I like that. Yes.
I bought like 75 houses. I bought
75?
75.
She was flipping NJ before Envy was flipping NJ, huh? Shout to Envy, shout to Caesar, the whole flipping NJ squad. So from those 75 properties, what came from that?
I went to prison right after I did it.
So you didn't get to reap the benefits from those 75 properties? So what happened to those?
I was gone for so long, for almost a decade. So the taxes, a lot of them were, because I didn't want them to be taken, to be, because I have restitution. I didn't want them to be like forfeitures.
Yeah.
So I never talked about it over the phone. I never bring it up because I was scared. So I really couldn't follow up with anybody about what was going on with them. So the taxes weren't being paid. I was scared to say the addresses. I was just shook because they had taken all my money, anything that I had that they can get their hands on, they took. So I was like, I want to hold on to my properties. And, by the time, I don't even know that my family had a fire while I was gone. So all the documentation, everything I had got burnt up. So it was just crazy.
So you didn't have no money buried somewhere?
No, I wasn't thinking that I had to have money buried anywhere because.
But if you're scared, okay, I watch a lot of gangster movies, the blows, the fucking, what's it called, Paid in Full and all that. You always know this not going to last forever. Don't tell me you didn't have that kind of feeling towards it, no?
No, because what I was doing, I was looking at it like it's not that serious, like.
Millions?
Yeah, but I mean, you could legitimately make millions, Every time you make millions doesn't mean that it's something that's going to, send you to jail.
But you knew you weren't doing it legitimately, correct?
I mean, kind of. Honestly, at my age, I was 24. And what I was doing was people were qualifying for these trading platforms and they had to look like they were worth more than what they were in order to qualify.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, well, they're not stealing anything. They're not ripping anybody off. They're not misleading any banks and getting loans. They're just showing like they're worth more. It's like if you wouldn't let me in this room unless I'm worth $20 million. So I come in with a fake document and say, I'm worth $20 million. I'm not taking anything from you. I just want the opportunity to sit in the room with you. So the way that I was looking at it at that time was like, oh, this is not a big deal. Nobody's taking losses. Nobody's losing anything. You know, that's how I was looking at it. So it's almost kind of like if you go and rob, that's what they used in the show. They said, we understand Ms. Hall's concept, but you can't go rob drug dealers just because they selling something
I know
illegal.
cops that rob drug dealers.
You know what I'm saying? But they're saying that's still a crime. Just because they're doing a crime and you go and rob the person doing a crime, doesn't make it not a crime. But at that time, I was rationalizing it like, oh, they might seize my money or give me a fine. I wasn't thinking that I didn't know anything about conspiracy laws. I didn't know. I learned all these things in prison.
Talk to me about the BET Plus Trap Queens episode of American Gangster. How do you feel it came out?
I feel it came out great. I was actually, watching it for the first time with everybody. We
spoke about this.
Yeah, we did.
That's wild boy crazy that you couldn't even see it before it premiered.
No, the editing.
And it's your story.
And it's my story. I didn't see anything. So, I didn't know what they were going to say about me. One of my prosecutors actually was on there.
Did you? And you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know until I saw it. I didn't know. But shout out to Judge Mathis because it's Judge Mathis and produced the show. He created the show.
Judge Mathis.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah. So Judge Mathis created the show and he spoke to it. When there's a segment where he's speaking and he's like, listen, the sentences are unfair. I think Ms. Hall was very intelligent. I think that
he sentenced you?
No.
So
he
was
speaking.
He
made the show and he was speaking on it. Yeah, but on the show, I like that they ousted my snitch, one of my snitches. I wasn't really sure if they were gonna put that in there, and they did.
Did you know that she was snitching on you on the time? He was snitching on the time.
No, I found out. When you're in prison, you get your discovery. So I was able to listen to tapes, and I'm having regular conversation with you. When I go and listen to my discovery, it's like at 4 p.m. we have a consensual recorded call to Aisha Hall, blah, 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 blah. Call commence now. Secret Service. I'm like, and he's like, what's up, Ish? So it's like I got to hear the start of the call.
Nah. And it was a man that set you up?
Yeah, it was a banker. It's in the show. You got to watch the show to see.
I haven't seen it yet. I mean,
but yeah.
Me and Aisha shot a scene for it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it made it, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch it.
There's some issues with clearance
I figured
for the show. So the same thing happened when we went to Sirius. So we didn't get to put that in there. Just legal stuff.
Listen, I'm not mad at it. As long as your story got out, that's all I was worried about.
But you're day one. You came. You let me come up here in the beginning. Let me tell my story. So as I move forward, I'm always gonna acknowledge that.
So your final opinion about the whole episode is what?
It was great. Most of the time the story is told from the government side, from the Fed side. But this, we got to tell it from our side. Mm-hmm. There were some great people on there. Big 50 from Detroit, she was on there. She's very well known in the street. Jamila T. Davis, she was on there. She's been up here on the Breakfast Club. Her episode is great. There's a lot of women on there that were just dope, and they got to tell their story. A lot of people look at women who break the law, people who break the law, period, as these like criminal, horrible people. But a lot of people are masterminds and they just use it for the wrong thing. So you get to see that in the show. They highlighted that part of it.
I was having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday. I grew up in Jersey, in a nice little white town where we were good. Mm-hmm. I have friends in other towns and other parts of Jersey that became, drug dealers and stuff like that. And I always said, like, if they grew up where I grew up, they would own Fortune 500 companies.
That's
because
right.
I believe if you could run a business where you're selling drugs and you don't get arrested, and you're 5-6 years in, you can definitely have a company with people doing the same type of stuff.
That's right.
So I believe your environment shapes what you do.
Yeah, it's what you're exposed to. Like the guys that worked for me, shout out to Marcel, shout out to Weezy. Marcel's in the episode. They came from Detroit. They grew up in not the best areas in the street, and I took them in and trained them on trading, which can be done with anybody if somebody's willing to train you, if you know about it. We're just not exposed to those types of careers. I'm self-taught, so know.
So if could you teach me in trading now?
Yeah, I could, of course.
Because I'm not in a position where I have a lot of money, but I could invest some stuff.
Well, the thing about trading is that depending on what you're trading and what platform you're in, you don't necessarily need money. That's how I was able to make money. You need to look like you have money. A lot of it is based on being ready, willing, and able. It's based on the bank saying, yeah, okay, so if you have $20 million in the bank regularly, I don't have that. And then you jump into a big investment and you spend $18 million. So now you got $2 million left, but you want to do something that costs $20. The bank can vouch for you in a bank guarantee and say, he's good for it. We'll put the money up and we know that he'll be good for that money. Just depends on your relationship with the bank. You can get a lot of things done. The biggest deals aren't done with cash. They're done with credit, letters of credit, bank guarantees, things of that nature.
I tell people all the time, the richest niggas don't spend any money. They trade assets.
And it's about sharing the risk. If we do something together and it fails, you know, I'm not hurt as bad if my losses are shared with your losses. You know what I mean? So that's the game. That's the real game. We don't really understand that. We go out and we spend our money on things that are, tangible. Once they're lost, they're gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't make long-term investments in pools. When you do that.
What do you mean in pools?
Meaning like 20 people doing something. If we're doing something and everybody's putting in $10,000, it's better than you doing something by yourself and putting in $200,000 or $300,000 and losing it.
I don't know if it was a meme or something I read. It was, I'm not going to say this, the group of people it was. They would come buy a house, and it would be 4 families in that house. They would save enough money to buy another house. One family would move out, but all the other families are still paying on that one house till all 4 families that originally came into that house each had their own house because they're all doing it in a pool. So I think that's what black people need to start doing. Like, stop having the ego and just, work together and have the bigger goal in mind.
Yeah, it's just that people keep those opportunities away from us, because they make a lot of money off of our ignorance and our not knowing. So when we start finding out stuff and we start getting educated in those things, then they want to change the rules up, or it hurts those that are at the top.
Like the weed game.
Yeah.
Niggas is in jail for selling weed. Right now, weed is legal in many states.
Yes, it is. I have a friend. She did 25 years for weed, and she's from Ohio, where it's legal.
Legal now.
So and she's still locked up.
That's wild, crazy. Now, do you have any regrets about what you did and how it went?
That's an interesting question. In the beginning, yes. Now, no.
The beginning, when? The beginning when you got to jail, the beginning, or the beginning of what you started to do?
And when I got to jail.
Yeah, because you're in jail. You got caught.
That's what I'm saying. That's when it started, the regret. But once I got to the end of my sentence, because when you get sentenced to 10 years, that feels like a life sentence. You can't see 10 years down the road. Imagine having a 10-year-old and then in 10 years they're going to be 20. You can't see them as an adult. So, when I got in, I'm like, damn, I should have researched more. I should have been more cautious. I shouldn't have jumped so fast to do this. I shouldn't have changed these documents. I shouldn't have forged this. I shouldn't have done this. Those were thoughts that I had once I got in, because I'm like, I'm 25 years old. I couldn't see myself in my 30s then,
So when you got out.
But when I got out and I saw my accomplishments, the 10 books that I wrote and published, all the music that I wrote, all the people who were moved by what I accomplished, I said, well, maybe I needed to make some mistakes so that I could be an example for others. And I literally have thousands and tens of thousands of people who are inspired by my story. So it changed my life. So
see, I was about to say, listen, if I made 10 million, how long what was the process of what you were doing going on?
10 months.
You made all that money in 10 months.
Yeah, my tagline, I had in 10 months, I made 10 million and got 10 years. It was
10,
just 10.
10.
I think that needs to be a mixtape title. What do you think? 10, 10, 10.
In that 10 months, did you enjoy the money you had?
No.
That's what would that's what would fuck me up.
But it wasn't about the money.
I could think about, what? In 10 months, I made the money, I spent it, I had a good time, I'm in jail for 10 years. Fuck it, it was worth it.
No, it's more about me knowing that I'm capable of doing that. That's what I got out of it. The fact that I did it, I know that I can make that kind of money.
Listen, when you make the next 10, hold on,
I got you.
So now, the BET show, the books you wrote, what's going on in your life now?
Well, right now, I'm getting ready to release new music because I do music.
Yes, absolutely. I've seen you at a couple showcases out here working. I got you. I see you.
The music is very important to me because while I was in prison, I'm sitting back and I'm listening to people talk about this lifestyle and talk about this money and talk about this whole facade. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I got all these stories that are true to write about and to put out there. I'm like, let me bring that to the game, some authenticity, like realness. I wasn't faking the funk.
There's no caps in your raps, huh?
No caps in my raps. So I really wanted to merge like the hustle with the intelligence. You know, a lot of times people look at people who are in the street or making money or go to prison as just, oh, they just street, like, you know. But in my case, what I did was never done before. So for me to be able to stay in my music element and bring that intellectual side to it, I think that was an important bridge. You know, it's cool to be smart. You just have to do it the right way.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. While you were incarcerated, did women know your story? Did people in jail know your story? And if they did, was there a respect factor when you walked around in jail?
You know, like I'm a very humble person. Like people knew my story, but most of my time was done helping people, like helping people with their cases, trying to fight the system. Because I shouldn't have got the time that I got. That's why my story is so popular.
Why not?
Because it was a nonviolent crime. It was my first offense. I got 10.5 years for changing some numbers on a letter. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So now like, I'm going to be the white guy that's going to give you the
bring
bullshit.
Bring it.
You take it as you just changed some numbers.
Yeah.
You changed the counts to make people seem what they weren't. So that is a crime. What would you say to that?
No, I disagree. I feel like if I was swindling somebody or people took losses,
you did. Me, as a person that thought you had 15 or thought you had 20, but you made them seem they had 50. So you swindled me to believe that someone is in front of me that isn't the person that's really in front of me.
Yeah, but this is what I was changing. See, money is controlled by a certain group of people. If you have $20 million and I have $1 million, and now I want to come in and spend $500,000, we both have that. But they're going to tell me no, and they're going to tell you yes because you have more. We're spending the same money. So what they're doing is they're controlling who has access to oil, who has access to natural gas, who has access. It keeps us out of that business because they set the requirements so high it's impossible.
Okay.
So I decided, listen, you got 500,000, he got 500,000. You're no better than this person. All you have to do is have this look. I'm gonna make you have that look. You go in and spend this. My 500 is just as good as yours.
Okay, I want to be very clear. I love that.
I'm just because there are people who think that. So
but I want to play the devil's advocate for the situation for people that are out there listening. Like, oh, I could do that too. It's still a situation where, you have $1 million, I have 20. We both are going to spend 500,000. In a year from now, because I've got 20, who knows where I'm going to be? It would have to be something astronomical for me to lose and be broke.
But that's not the trader's business. What you do, if you decide to go broke,
you know what, you fucking
it's not the trader's business. You know, if I want to spend my last dime on something, that's my decision.
It's hard for me to go against black people. You fucking right, goddamn it. These white people, stop holding shit from us. Let us play too. Okay. The book, the show, the music. What else do we need to know about Aisha? You've been home for how many months?
2 years now.
2 years. And you're doing music now, shows on BET. That's an accomplishment. You don't feel accomplished by that?
I do. You know,
nigga, I've never been away. I've been home my whole life. I'm still out on BET.
I do, but I got a lot of work to do, and I have a lot of goals. And I'm just
What are some of those goals?
I definitely want to produce my own show. My life story. I want to be behind that, at least one of the creative directors or writers in that. You know, I want a New York Times bestseller. I have a lot of books. I want them to reach a different level. I have a children's book coming out. It's called Larry the Lending Lion, and it's about teaches children about finance, about credit, about how to borrow, from about 7 to 10 years old.
Okay.
So that'll be coming out.
I got a 4-year-old that thinks he's 14 and a 9-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I think is needed, and it would have helped me because I was self-taught and there was things that I missed.
Oh, I'm with you 100%. I think financial literacy is something that the black culture does not teach at all.
Right.
My mom was so afraid that you wouldn't know money too early, and I'm like, fam, there's no way my son is going out in the world and not knowing how to write a check, how to save money, how to put things into certain situations. I'm not gonna be afraid for him to know money. My mom was so against it. And I think that's a West Indian thing.
No, I think it's just not, like, especially like during like civil rights and stuff, we were fighting for equality, like schools, sitting in restaurants. I want to drink from your fountain, but we weren't really talking about having equal financial rights, having banking rights. That was kind of left out of the argument. So, we'll let you, y'all can go to our schools. You can do this, but y'all gonna stay the hell out of our banks. And that's where we kind of, we couldn't even own property. We were just pushed away from finance. So now it's like that we have access to stuff.
So why don't you go into finance, Ms. Hall?
I mean, I'm teaching it and talking about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah. That's why I'm doing this children's book. I'm really, really interested in seeing children have a little bit more financial education, because they'll be able to make better decisions when you understand. They don't even know how to write checks a lot of the times, even though checks are kind of a thing of the past. But it's good with balancing. It's good understanding credit. They don't teach you anything about credit in school, not even high school. No. So
Aisha Hall out here telling gems. Ladies and gentlemen, to sit down. Aisha Hall is in the building. It's Shigaya EmEz. Okay, so anything else before I let you go?
Yeah, actually, what I do though is I fix credit. So a lot of people, they love my expertise.
I'm at a 600 right now. How could you fix me?
I got you. We gonna talk.
I owe taxes.
Right? Okay, we gonna talk.
See, that's the situation.
Check me out on therealcreditpro.com. That's my website with my sister.
So you're in a lot of stuff, bro. From the music, the books, the BT, and now credit fixing. Yeah. How did you get into that? I want to end the interview, and she keeps killing me more stuff.
I used to do that a long, long, long time ago. And when I came out, I realized that a lot of people coming from prison can't get jobs. They can't get jobs because they have felonies. So when you have a felony, people don't want to hire you. But if you can have a lump sum to start a business, that would make life a little easier. So I started fixing credit for people who were just coming home from prison that needed to boost their credit. And then we started doing so good with it. I told Shawana, we said, let's help everybody, and then we started a company and we went from there, and it just grew crazy. So that's one of the things that we do, right now. It's actually one of my bargaining tools. I mean, I've gotten Grammy Award winning producers to do records for me because I fixed their credit. It's a most valuable tool. So, that's what I've been doing.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Anything else you about to drop on me that I didn't know?
Now, my mixtape, Aisha Hall Trap Queen, it'll be dropping soon.
Oh, nice title.
Yes, it goes with the show. Promo, expanding my brand.
You should have had it when the show dropped, man.
Well, they gave me 9 days notice.
BT, do better, man. Okay, so all that going on. Let them know how to follow you, how to reach you, if they want to work with you, if they want to help their credit, if they want to watch the show. Let them know all of that.
Okay, well, you can watch the show on BET Plus. You can watch it on Amazon Prime, Google Play, any of those streaming apps. You can just go put in Trap Queens, American Gangsta. It comes up. My name is Aisha Hall. I'm episode 6. You can also find me on Instagram at The Real Aisha Hall. My credit repair company is The Real Credit Pro. You can go to therealcreditpro.com. You can find that from my page or my partner, Shawana King's page at Wanna Got Class. You can find me on YouTube. Just Google Aisha Hall, put in YouTube Aisha Hall. My story comes up, and that's pretty much it.
Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you. We'll be.
You should have been on the show. I'm sorry. I know legal jargon.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Next time. We got bigger things coming.
I ain't worried about it. We'll figure it out. Ladies and gentlemen, Aisha Hall. This is the sit down. Come and catch the vibe. Welcome to Easy Weekend.
It's Easy Weekends.
Cats can't see me.